Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the No DQ live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for October the 16th, 2020. Shout out to everybody in the chat room watching this live, and thank you to everybody watching this on demand as well. Big Smackdown. This was the season premiere of Smackdown. Of course, we had the draft last week, and this week it's the start of a new beginning for Smackdown. We had an updated intro with all the new members of the Smackdown roster and the old ones. We had everybody out on the stage, except for Roman Reigns, I believe. We had Triple H and Stephanie McMahon in the ring, and they talked about the new era of SmackDown. Triple H even referred to Lars Sullivan as the Super Freak. A huge fight broke out between the members of the SmackDown roster. The Freak himself, Lars Sullivan, came out to the ring. He beat up the Street Profits, Kalisto. Sami Zayn ran away. Apollo Crews and Shorty G got beat up. And then Jeff Hardy came after Sullivan. We had our commercial break, and when we came back, we had our first match of the evening. Lars Sullivan, the Freak, versus Jeff Hardy. Sullivan came off the top with a big splash, but he missed, and Hardy made a comeback. However, Hardy hit a twist of fate and then went to the top to hit the swanton. However, Sullivan popped right back up from the twist of fate. Hardy was shocked. Sullivan grabbed Hardy off the top and slammed him down with the Freak accident to pick up the victory. No surprise here because Jeff Hardy is now part of Raw, and the idea is that if you're leaving the territory, you put over the guy that's staying on the way out, and thus Jeff Hardy, his last match on SmackDown, puts over the Freak, Lars Sullivan. Good stuff here, and we had Jeff Jarrett shown on the Thunderdome, and actually throughout the evening, we had several wrestling personalities appearing on the Thunderdome watching the show, which I like. I like the concept. Why not? Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, why don't you shave your head like Joe Rogan? I did once, and that was WrestleMania 32 when Zack Ryder won the ladder match, and because of our WrestleMania stipulation, I had to shave my head. There's actually a video on the No DQ YouTube channel. Aaron Riff shaves his head. Look it up. TJS, Tyler, with a $5 super chat. Thank you, TJS. He says, so WWE books the highly controversial Lars Sullivan better than the world-renowned Keith Lee. I do not get it. What is going on, Aaron? Keith is better than Lars Sullivan. Two different types of characters. Keith Lee is a big, strong powerhouse, but he's a nice guy. Lars Sullivan, as they said like 20 times on SmackDown, he's a freak, he's a monster, and they're booking him as such. But yeah, I would say Keith Lee should be booked in similar fashion, have him come out there and destroy people. I am definitely supportive of that idea. We had a Bianca Belair video package showing off all of her athletic skills. She's the strongest, the fastest, and so forth. I liked the video package. I thought it was really cool. I like the logo they have for her. Pretty nifty. And Corey Graves predicted that by this time next year, Bianca Belair will be the SmackDown Women's Champion. I say there's a decent chance. I could definitely see Sasha Banks winning the SmackDown Women's title and then feuding with Bianca Belair. That should be a hell of a feud. And I would expect that in 2021. Maybe sooner. We had the New Day come out for what would be their final promo. For the past week, WWE was building this up as the farewell of the New Day, their final night together as a trio. Pretty emotional promo here. I thought it was really well done, and it felt sincere from everybody involved. Xavier talked about their moments, how they got together, how he said they were willing to trust him when he had this idea, and it was the best 6 years of his life. He was trying to hold back tears. Kofi Kingston talked about how he met two of his best friends in his life, considers them brothers. And then backstage, we had the bad guys, Sheamus, Cesaro. By the way, the Bar reuniting on this show, but really did not get much attention. I think Michael Cole did reference it, but yeah, it was almost an afterthought. I was happy to see the Bar reunited, even if it is for one night, because Sheamus is also part of Raw now. So Sheamus, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura cut a promo basically saying that they're going to beat up the pancake-eating punks and they're going to ruin the final moments of the New Day, and it's going to be goodbye to the New Day forever. And then we had some Fox Sports analysts predicting Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, which I guess was okay. I'm wondering if these guys even know what the hell this whole storyline is about, and they're just handed a piece of paper saying, "Oh, you got to plug SmackDown, so make sure you guys make a prediction for this and make sure you know how to pronounce the names correctly." I think Colin Cowherd was one of the guys, and I could have sworn he referred to wrestling fans as a bunch of booger eaters. That's what my memory recalls, at least. We had our match, our six-man match. The New Day versus Cesaro, Sheamus, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Lengthy back and forth match here. Pretty good amount of time for a WWE TV match. I mean, I thought it was a pay-per-view quality match. Really good stuff here. I mean, these guys, they all work so well together. New Day and the Bar, one of the best feuds of the past decade, in my opinion. They had some classics, and a lot of people on Twitter talking about how Cesaro, probably the New Day's greatest rival. I would agree on that. These guys, the Bar, New Day, they had so many classic matches, and you add Sheamus to the mix, and it's just great stuff. Bad guys worked over Kofi for a while. After the commercial, Big E got the hot tag, and New Day hit all their signature moves. And on commentary, Michael Cole said that Big E might be a future world champion. Corey Graves said he agrees if Big E gets rid of the silliness. And there was a report that Big E's going to have more of a serious tone moving forward. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, seems like a direction for Big E if he's going to get that main event push. Kofi tagged back in, and Sheamus ended up being sent into the post. Big E tagged back in again. Him and Xavier did a double team onto Sheamus, and then Big E pinned Sheamus. Once again, Sheamus going to Raw, so he's putting over the SmackDown guy on the way out, wrapping up the Big E and Sheamus storyline also. And after the match, New Day hugged, and Big E had some words for his brothers, said he could not thank them enough. I thought this was great. Really cool moment for the New Day, a nice send-off, and thankfully there was no Big E heel turn. I did not think WWE was going to do it. I figured it would be nice to just let the New Day have their moment after 6 years. Great stuff here. I thought it was fantastic. I did get a little emotional about it. You know, I've had mixed opinions about the New Day over the years, but I mean, there's no denying the impact that they made, and one of the all-time greatest acts, maybe the best trio in WWE history. I mean, you could argue the Shield or the New Day, but the New Day had the longevity. 6 years, they kept it going. Yes, it did feel stale at times, but they did have a tremendous run. Nothing lasts forever, and we'll see what happens next with these guys. And TJS jumping ahead here a little bit. Hashtag stick to the topic. TJS says, starting the main event now, what the hell is Braun wearing? The same thing he was wearing on Raw Underground, TJS. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat, thank you for that, says, I wish Big E can use his I Need 5 theme song again. Man, I do not even remember that one. I'm afraid Big E's going to get some crappy music from Def Rebel or whatever the hell the new music group is called. He's going to end up with some generic crap. I hope I'm wrong, though. I hope Big E gets a killer theme song. I guess we'll find out next week. I can't imagine he's going to keep the New Day music. You would think Big E would have his own music. Kofi and Xavier will probably keep the New Day music, although you associate that New Day music with Big E because he always does the intro at the beginning. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if Kofi and Xavier get new music, if Big E gets new music. Maybe Big E keeps the New Day music. Jose Garza says he might get a New Day remix. Yeah, he could. Moving on here, we had Sami Zayn backstage confronting Otis. He made fun of Otis because he lost his partner Tucker and lost his woman Mandy Rose, and said there are winners like him and then there are Otises. Otis attacked Sami. I guess that's going to be the next feud, Sami Zayn versus Otis for the IC title. We had the return of Daniel Bryan, who's been out of action for 3 or 4 months now, since the beginning of summer, late spring, somewhere around there. Right around the time there was that COVID outbreak. And of course, we all know that Brie Bella was very much pregnant at the time Bryan took his absence, and he is back now. Bryan greeted the fans, his first time in the Thunderdome, very excited to be there. Brie and Birdie were there on the screen watching. That was pretty cool. He was interrupted by Seth Rollins. And Rollins said Bryan forgot about the most important man, because Bryan was putting over all these potential new matches on SmackDown, and Rollins came out and said, "You forgot about me. You forgot about the savior of SmackDown." And he wanted to know which side of history will Bryan be on. Bryan responded by saying that Rollins is self-centered and he's just, well, kind of dumb. Rollins did not appreciate being called dumb, so he took a cheap shot at Bryan. Bryan fought back. Rollins attempted to retreat, but then booyaka, booyaka, 619. Rey Mysterio and Dominic come out. Rollins gets back in the ring, and it looks like Bryan is going to maybe help Rollins, but then takes off. So Rollins is by himself, and then Murphy comes to the ring, acts like he's going to help Rollins, but then attacks Rollins, beats the crap out of him, knee to the face. Rollins manages to retreat. Murphy offers a peace offering, an olive branch, to Rey Mysterio and Dominic. He offers a handshake, but it gets turned down. Rey Mysterio and Dominic not ready to bury the hatchet with Murphy just yet. The plot thickens. Great stuff here. I thought this was awesome. Loved the whole segment. You got Bryan over, establish his return to WWE. You further the Murphy storyline with Rollins, and you also wonder what's going to happen next with Rey Mysterio and Murphy. Will they be able to get along and coexist? Good stuff. Compelling stuff. I enjoyed it. Nick Lavin says, "Nice shirt, Aaron." Thank you for that, Nick. I appreciate it. Can't go wrong with the Beatles. We had the Street Profits versus Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Profits still have the red Solo Cups. I mentioned on Twitter, I think these guys should have blue Solo Cups, right? Since they're on SmackDown now. Anyways, not much to this match. This was probably the weak point of the show. It felt like it was just a way to get the new SmackDown guys on the show, but it was a very short match, ended in, I think, a DQ. I'm not even sure what happened. It just got thrown out. The referee lost control. Maybe Roode and Ziggler broke the 5 count. They were both in there for too long. Something like that. After the match, Dawkins got laid out by Roode and Ziggler, but then Ford came off the top with a double cross body block, and Profits got the upper hand to end the segment, and Ric Flair was shown on the Thunderdome watching his boys, the Street Profits. I guess they'll probably continue the feud, but yeah, it felt like just a filler segment. Maybe the only filler segment on this show, although I guess they'll be having a feud moving forward. Why not just have the Street Profits win a match, or have Better yet, have Rude and Ziggler win a match against like Shorty G and Apollo Crews, since clearly WWE's got no plans for those guys. Just establish Rude and Ziggler as a credible force for the tag team titles. I think that's how I would have done it personally, but whatever. It was all right. Just not much to it. Then we had a Bayley and Sasha Banks contract signing. I was loving SmackDown, and then they had to do this to me. They had to do a contract signing. But they did do something different, which I appreciated. Bayley came to the ring with her trusty steel chair. Adam Pearce hosted this contract signing. Sasha signed first, and she talked about how she's been waiting for a long time. Bayley said she's been waiting too. She wants to get rid of Sasha so she can continue her record-breaking reign as the SmackDown Women's Champion, 370 days now, or whatever the number is. And Bayley said all she did was beat Sasha to the punch. Sasha was going to turn on Bayley first. Sasha responded by saying if she was going to turn on Bayley, she would have done it a long time ago, several years ago. Now, time out here, but I could have sworn that Bayley did turn on Sasha in the past. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember that happening. Anyways, we'll forget it. We'll give her a pass. Sasha talked about all the things that she did do for Bayley, having her back all these years. Bayley then got upset and refused to sign the contract. I think that's a first in the history of these contract signings, which is why I'm not going to go letter grade down for this, just because we got something different. Bayley refusing to sign a contract during the contract signing segment. Sasha said she will make Bayley sign one way or another. She's going to get her. I got to say, good segment here. For a contract signing segment, I enjoyed it, and I like the little twist at the end with Bayley refusing to sign. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but thumbs up to a contract signing segment. We had our main event of the evening, but before I get to that, Marquand 1976 with a $5 super chat, thank you for that, says, hey Aaron, what should be erased from wrestling, weddings or contract signings? Contract signings, because weddings don't happen that often. Contract signings happen almost every single month, and I'm tired of them. So we had our main event, Strowman versus Reigns. We had old Whisker Biscuit, Billy Boy, Bill Goldberg, watching on the Thunderdome. He said he was going to be there on Instagram, although people were thinking this meant he was going to be in the actual building, but no, he was just there watching, which is the right way to do it because Reigns has got a match with Jey Uso at Hell in the Cell. So if there's any plan for Goldberg versus Reigns at some point, you don't want to start building that up now and take the focus away from Jey Uso versus Reigns. This was fine. Have a little subtle tease for it. I had no problem with Goldberg just being on the screen. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat, thank you for that, says, what would you replace with contract signings? Anything. Come up with something different. I don't know what exactly would do, but be more creative and do different kinds of segments instead of relying on the old, we got to do a contract signing every single month for a pay-per-view. We also had Mark Henry and Keith Lee watching via the Thunderdome virtual viewing. Jey Uso was watching backstage, as wrestlers tend to do in WWE. Reigns and Strowman locked up. Reigns got the best of him early on, hit a Superman punch which knocked Strowman off the apron. Strowman did make a comeback and he tackled Reigns over the barricade. And then back in the ring, Strowman hit a choke slam, but Reigns kicked out. However, it was the same type of kick out that Reigns did with Jey Uso, where he gave Strowman a low blow as he was kicking out. And once again, the announcers are like, was that an accident or not? So the plot thickens with Roman Reigns. He's He's now done this twice with the low blow kick out. Reigns hit a spear to Strowman, which Strowman did kick out of. And then Strowman attempted to go for the power slam, but Reigns got out of it and actually put on this guillotine submission. Roman Reigns is not a submission wrestler. He put on the guillotine submission, and Strowman tried to fight it off, but eventually he fell to the ground and he tapped out. Braun Strowman tapped out to Roman Reigns. I saw some people on social media upset about this. I'm fine with it because, number one, Strowman has been watered down as of late, and him losing at this point, whatever. And number two, like I said earlier, he's on Raw now. He's putting over the guy who's remaining in the territory, Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns is the biggest star in the company, so you're losing to the number one guy. I'm okay with it. You can rebuild Strowman over on Raw and maybe repackage him, get rid of that outfit. TJS brought it up. Maybe change up his act a little bit. But yeah, Strowman was damaged goods a long time ago, so I'm not really upset about Strowman tapping out. The game is on 100 with a $5 super chat. Says, two good things on SmackDown. Bayley number one on PWI 100 women's list, and Reigns dominating Strowman going to Raw in the Barney Gumble voice. I like it. I like it too. And SmackDown is feeling like a big deal. And of course, WWE is wanting to make SmackDown a big deal because of the deal with Fox. Fox is paying a lot of money for SmackDown, and SmackDown at this point in time is the A show. Even though Raw has been the established show, because SmackDown is on Fox, SmackDown gets the priority when it comes to how much effort WWE is putting into the shows. After the match, we had Jey Uso come to ringside, and Roman Reigns grabbed a steel chair, talked about how this is how they eat. He started to use the steel chair on Strowman, hit him repeatedly with it, and we had officials come in, try to get Reigns to back off. Reigns said, if he can do this to Strowman, imagine what he is going to do to Jey. He continued with the steel chair shots. Jey got into the ring. Reigns said he loves Jey, but Jey is embarrassing him. Reigns then gave the chair to Uso, and just like Sting in 1996, Reigns turned his back to Jey Uso. Sting would hand a bat to somebody and turn his back. Reigns did a similar thing here. Jey did not do it. Instead, Jey waited for Reigns to turn around and face him, and then Jey took his shot with a super kick and then used the steel chair on Reigns. Officials came in to get Jey to back off, and as they were doing this, Reigns took advantage of that and hit the Superman punch to Jey and laid him out. And that was the end of SmackDown. Great ending to the show. It's hard to imagine that the same company is responsible for Raw and SmackDown, because SmackDown just feels like a totally different show. I think it comes down to the 2 hours more than the creative process. Two things. I think SmackDown gets the priority because it's on Fox. And number two, a 2-hour show is easier to write, and there's less filler on a 2-hour show. So when they're putting together SmackDown, they only got 2 hours, so they gotta get to the point. You know, with 3 hours, they're like, well, we gotta fill up 3 hours. We gotta stretch out these segments longer than they need to be. And I think that's the biggest reason why I think SmackDown tends to be a better show than Raw. And plus, you got Roman Reigns on there with Paul Heyman being involved in the creative process with Reigns. Great stuff here. This was maybe the best SmackDown of the year. I'm giving it a solid A. If only they did something with the tag team match, maybe had Rude and Ziggler beat Shorty Gable and Apollo Crews or something like that to build them up as challengers, I might have gone with an A+. Solid A. One of, if not the best SmackDown of the year. Great show. Very easy watch. I enjoyed it. Looking forward to the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view. Let's see what you guys thought. Ace and his familiar vlogs with an A, Amanda with an A, Kev with an A, Mike B with an A, Tyson with an A, Muhammad with a B+, Marquand 1976 with a B+, CC Drink with an A, Israel Diaz with an A, and Matt Helms with an A, and Shady Snake with a B-. Hap Connell with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Hap. Says, wrestling fans have been called virgins, booger eaters, idiots, etc. An article once said wrestling is something people watched before they got a girlfriend. What are some other insults that you've heard? Well, the biggest one is only kids can like wrestling because wrestling is fake. If you're an adult watching wrestling, then yeah, you're all of those things that you mentioned. But yeah, people called idiots for watching wrestling, like you must have an IQ of a 10-year-old if you watch wrestling. I've heard all sorts of things, and sometimes I think that argument is justified. I mean, sometimes I wonder, like, what am I doing with my life watching this show? Of course, I'm covering it for a living, too. Calvin Bowman gives SmackDown a B-, and that might be the lowest grade I've seen on here for SmackDown. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, thoughts on Raw Underground getting canceled? Thumbs up. Raw Underground to me was crap. It was an experiment. They tried something, but yeah, it just wasn't panning out. So I will not be missing Raw Underground. I have not shed one tear after hearing that news. I definitely recommend checking out SmackDown. Best show of the week. No arguments here. Better than NXT, better than AEW, and of course better than Raw. But I mean, every week Raw is like the number 4 show of the 4 main shows between Raw, SmackDown, AEW, and NXT. Hell, I might say Impact is better than Raw on some weeks, on some occasions. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the recap. If you did, please do me a favor and give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and tell a friend. Share a link to this video on social media. Takes 1 minute of your time. Just copy the link and paste it on Facebook or Twitter. I very much appreciate it, guys. Word of mouth goes a long way. And tomorrow night, Saturday night, if you're watching this on Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, the Great No DQ Debate. Check it out, guys. Check out Too Sweet Cosplay. My friend Steve-O puts out a great product, Sun Goshiku. Check out his channel. Check out Virtue's column on NoDQ.com and Mr. Tito. It's going to be Virtue versus Tito in the Great No DQ Debate. Tune in for that. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Stay positive and be safe. I'll see you guys next time.